Hello everyone, my name is Eric Uvier and I am a senior at Lourdes University. I am currently enrolled in the Business 340 internship class, and during this presentation I will be talking about my experience with PwC's internship program. I'm currently pursuing a major in accounting in order to get 150 credits and be able to take my CPA test. With this test, I will be able to work as a certified public accountant anywhere in the United States. Over the course of this summer, I was able to work with PwC's START internship program in McLean, Virginia. This is in the Washington metro market, and it was a wonderful experience that I will be sharing with you guys today. PwC's START internship is a great first year program. It's designed to help you learn the different fields in a public accounting world rather than choosing one. During the summer, I was able to work with audit teams, tax teams, and public sector teams, all while doing my START internship trainings as well. In the picture we can see here, this is my first day in the START internship program in Atlanta. This was a really fun time because we had guest speakers, we had trainings to learn how to use Excel, Tableau, different accounting programs that I will talk about later on. And we simply got to meet all the other interns and work as teams. Moving on to the following slide, I will talk a little bit more about PwC as a company. PwC, or PricewaterhouseCoopers, are a Big Four accounting firm competing with Deloitte, EY, and KPMG in the public accounting world. The reason that I decided to apply for PwC was after doing a little research, I was able to find their purpose and their values. The purpose of PwC is to build trust in society and solve important problems. This is something that you see throughout all the employees and throughout all the work that they do. They try to do the best work possible and to have clients be sure of the work that they do. One of my biggest values in life is integrity. And after doing research, PwC's values are act with integrity, make a difference, care, work together, and reimagine the possible. This is something that really spoke out to me because I want to work in a firm that believes the same thing that I do. Going back to the values of PwC, in this slide I decided to put a visual representation of their values next to their PwC professional framework. With these two charts is what PwC look for in employees. The PwC professional framework is used to look for potential employees and to measure their work during the year. As you can see in the middle of the chart, it says whole leadership. Whole leadership is the most important framework that they look for during employees. The reason being that all of the work that you do in that company is based on teams, and they are currently and always looking for new leaders to step up and take on new responsibilities. Another big thing that PwC look for is their global and business acumen. At first, I wasn't really sure what that was, but after doing a little research, I came to learn that it's knowing what's going on in the business world in the United States, and knowing what's happening globally, not just in the business world, but religious-wise, politically, everything that's happening throughout the world. After doing a lot of research and going through my interview process, I was finally able to start my work with PwC. As I mentioned, I worked in the Washington metro market, or the Mid-Atlantic market. This includes Virginia, Washington, D.C., Pennsylvania, and Maryland, among others. During the first week of my internship program, I went to Atlanta, Georgia for a training. This included a lot of guest speakers, a lot of motivational speakers. We had training from Excel to different other programs, and we had a lot of team building exercises. During this program, we had to work with teams of people we just met and come with a carnival game for the Atlanta Public School District. The reason for this was to see how we would work with teams and to see who would step up to be a leader. The challenge of this activity was that we had limited resources and a limited amount of time, and we had to come up with the best product in order to win the activity. This is very challenging, but it was very fun as well. Luckily, my team didn't end up last, but we ended up, I think, fifth. throughout the 650 interns. Besides that first training, once we got back, we had to do two simulations, one for tax and one for audit. During the tax simulation, we were assembled in different teams and with associates in the tax department, and we simply learned the work that they do and did actual work that a tax associate would do. This is the same as in the audit simulation, where we had real world scenarios and we would work with the information we had with our teams. After the simulations, I was finally able to join my tax and my audit teams. First, I was with an audit team that was actually working with a current client. This is really interesting because I actually got to see what I learned in school. I got to see the different financial forms of a real life client. I was with that audit team for a week, and later, the following week, I was able to join my international tax team. This is really fun because being from Puerto Rico, I am exposed to a lot of international stuff and a lot of international clients. After spending a week with an audit team and a week with the tax team, I was finally able to join my supervisor in the public sector team. This is something that really interests me because I want to work in the advisory public sector field. This is basically consulting to the government financial forms. Not only did I get the opportunity to work with these teams, but I also attended many meetings. I had a lot of training with my computer skills. I analyzed and I did a lot of research. Working with the different teams, I was able to attend a lot of meetings as an intern with partners, managers, and associates. With these meetings, I learned a lot of new information and I also got to hear what the clients had to say about our work. I also learned a lot about Excel. I've only taken like maybe one or two classes in Excel, and throughout my internship, I use Excel probably every single day. I learned a lot of new shortcuts and a lot of new techniques to do the actual accounting work. Not only did I use Excel, but I used different accounting softwares. Some include Tableau and Alteryx. I mostly use these two to work with the tax team to make graphs and make all the information more presentable to the client. Not only did we have to do a lot of presentations, but we had to do a lot of research as well. I had to look for information about the client, learn what their product was, learn what market they were in, and then talk to my supervisors about that information. During this internship program, I learned a lot of new information. But I think some of the most important things that I learned were not technical, but real world experiences. One of the most important that I will never forget is that I learned what it's like to actually work in a big four accounting firm. Normally, people think that working as an accountant, you're by yourself, working on your desk, doing your own work, and that's it. You go back to your house. But in reality, I learned that it's a lot more than that. I learned that you have teams from 15 to 150 people. With this, you're currently working with other people, talking to other people. You're always going to meetings, and it's not just sitting down. You obviously have to sit down to do your work, but you have to check your work with other people. You have to make sure that everybody's on the same page. During this internship, I also, as I mentioned, had a lot of trainings. I did two simulations in which I learned the real life work that the associates of the company do, and I learned that it's possible. It's nothing too complicated. There's a lot of information that I still have to learn, but I know it's something that I can do as I continue on with my career. I also learned what it's like to be with a client in the audit field. I learned what it's like to go to a company and audit all their financial information and work with the client to look for all the information. Something that I really enjoyed about this internship was having lunch meetings and breakfast meetings with partners. The partners in a public accounting firm are the head of the company. They're the one that own the company, they're the one that owns the shares, and more importantly, they're the ones that hire employees. During my lunch and breakfast meetings with them, I was able to go one on one and talk to these partners and ask them what type of questions they had. I asked them about their experiences. I asked them how they like the company. I asked them about what I have to do to get to where they are. And it was really fun, actually. It was great experiences to learn what these people did in order to get to where I want to go. One of the most important things I did during this internship, I think, is the exposure that I had. Not only did I work with a tax team and a audit team, but I had the opportunity to work with four different tax departments, which included international tax, R&D, which is research and development tax, SALT, which is state and local tax, and private company tax, which was actually really interesting. Competitive, but really interesting. I also worked with two audit teams, which included internal and external audits, and finally public sector. While working with PwC, I learned that there are a lot of different opportunities to grow. I learned that there's a lot of international exposure simply because they have offices in around 157 countries in the world. And this is something that I found really interesting because being bilingual, I have an opportunity to work in South America, I have an opportunity to work in Europe, I have a lot of opportunities to work around the world and work with different clients. Another thing that I learned that was really interesting was that there's a lot of field rotation. I actually learned about this while talking to my private company tax partner. This means that if I, for example, choose SALT, which is state and local tax, and I don't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would, I can choose to switch or to rotate to another field in tax, or simply go to audit. There's a lot of chance to grow because while working, for example, in one department, I grow pretty fast. I started as an associate, and then I go to senior associate, manager, partners, etc. If I do the work right and I show my abilities as a leader, there's a lot of chances to grow and a lot of exposure to other clients. That's why one of the biggest things I learned in this internship was the networking opportunities that we have. Besides learning about all the different opportunities that PwC has to offer, I also learned a lot of technical and real life skills. I learned a lot about Excel and about the programs they use. I learned about the importance of networking and building relationships. I learned a lot about managing big amount of work in one day or in a week time period and working on that timeline to meet what was agreed upon with the client. Most importantly, I think I learned how to ask for help. Because as interns, sometimes we don't want to ask because we don't want to seem like we don't know what we're doing. But I learned that that is really expected of us. And being a new employee, they want to help us. They want to help us grow and learn how they work. So they treat us just like any other employee and help us to achieve our final goal. Because at the end of the day, we're one whole company and we're all working together to do the best that we can. Finally, I learned how to adapt to the PwC culture. The PwC culture is a very relaxed environment. The average age of PwC employees is 27 years old, which means that people are active. It's a fun environment. And something interesting is that the dress code is smart casual. Smart casual means that you can go wearing jeans, a polo shirt, a nice dress shirt, but when working with clients, you have to dress appropriately. In conclusion, I learned that PwC is a great company to work for. Everything they do is based on their values and their PwC professional framework, and that's something that I really like in a company. I learned that everybody is treated equal, not just intern or manager. And even though it's very intense, there's this relaxed feeling to it with the culture. Having that young culture, having that fun environment really helps while doing all the work. I would definitely recommend PwC as an internship and as a place to start your career because I really had a great time. I learned a lot of new things, and I will actually be going back this summer as an audit intern. Last but not least, I just want to say thank you to everybody in PwC and all my supervisors and all my intern team. It was a great experience, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody else. Thank you.